Hey, what is going on, everyone? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends, and in today's video, I want to talk about some mistakes that I've made in the early game that I've corrected since. But if you're a new player, or if you haven't really thought about it that much, this is about silver, and I want to talk about the ways in which I've wasted my silver, and I really didn't think much of it. And a lot of this is in relation to how I spend it on gear when it comes to upgrading gear, and also mistakes that I made when upgrading the wrong gear. But also, I want to talk about some tips that I picked up regarding the gear enhancement event milestones, which are running right now with the Esme the Dancer event, and ways that you can come out on top for this too. And if you found the tips in this video helpful, then please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. You'd be greatly helping me out on the channel, and ring that notification bell for future guides on Raid. And before we get started with the rest of the video, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started an account on Raid Shadow Legends yet, then you can download the game using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen, or using the link in the description down below to get yourself a free Epic Rector draft alongside some other freebie resources which you'll use. Also, by account level 15, you will get yourself this Ugo, who is one of the best epic characters in Raid Shadow Legends. I am using them every single day on my roster, so don't delay, and they'll definitely help you out in your start. All right, so first things first, I want to talk about, I think I alluded to this a little bit in my last video, actually, when I did a bit of an update on the Hero's Path event for Esme the Dancer. And one way that I was able to clear the gear, and I really don't like these, the gear enhancement events. I think it's a bit of a pain in the ass. However, if you want to make this a little bit easier on yourself, one thing that I found, and again, a shout out to the comments section, because was from like a week ago now, I guess, when I heard about this myself, and I was like, this is actually really good. Now, it's super tedious, but if you take all of the gear that you have and you upgrade them to level 4. Okay, so like let's say this life sword, for example. You take this to level 4. How much is that going to cost me? It's going to cost me 4,480 silver. Now, not for the 4-star. I think this is only worth 1 point in the gear enhancement. I think 5 stars worth 2, and 6 stars are worth 3. Okay, but I can sell that even if I don't even need this. I can sell it back for 71.25. So I'm making a profit actually on the silver that I just spent to take it to level 4. So if you have a bunch of gear, if you've been grinding, let's say, campaign 12.3, which is the shield one for the curing set that a lot of people do. I have a bunch of it down here. Honestly, I need to sell some of my stuff. But the curing set is what typically people farm out of chapter 12. 3, which is down here, right? Like you can see I have some shields. I think I sold some of them actually. But let's take this 5-star common shield over here, right? And so we upgrade this. This would be worth, at a 5-star, would be worth 2 points, I think, like I said, upgrading this to level 4. And that cost me 6,300 silver. But if I sell that same thing back, I get 20,000, right? So this is why that you want to kind of keep everything, whether you're farming dungeons, whether you're farming campaigns, make sure you keep the gear that you get, because this is an easy way to get a small bit of points along the way, especially for those gear enhancements events. Again, super tedious, because yes, I actually did do this with the majority of my items in order to get to to finish it for the Esme the Dancer fragments for this event in particular. So yeah, it's not fun having to go through most of this, but you're actually coming out ahead. You're actually like net positive silver in this case, because the other thing is that what I could do, and I'm going to do this on a 4-star, but typically I think, and actually I can go back and check to see exactly how much it costs, how many points you get for the gear enhancement. But if you went to level 8, I believe, let's say, just say the 4-star, for example, that's an extra 3 points. So I would get 4 points in total for doing that. But I don't think that the return is as much, because taking an item piece to level 4 is static. It's the same cost all the way through, but it's not the same cost going to level 8. It fluctuates a little bit, I'm pretty sure. So I just wanted to take that 4-star shield, for example, and like if we take that to level 8, and how much that's going to cost? It cost me 33,000. So 33,000, and I'm just doing this for the science. 33,000 for was 3 points, right? So that's 4 points total. So as far as what it is per point at that point, right? Like, so 33,100 divided by 4 points, that's about 82.75 per point, and that's actually a lot more than if you just level an item to level 4. So I don't think I'm net I'm not net positive in this case because it only sells for 9,000, right? So I just lost like 24,000 silver. So you can take, and that's going to be obviously the fastest way to clear these events out is by taking especially 5 and 6 star items to like level 16. You're going to get an insane amount of bulk points for that, but it's going to cost you because it's RNG, or in this random number generator. As far as how much it's going to cost you to take an item to 16 is going to vary wildly. Sometimes it can cost you only 1 million silver to get an item to level 16. Sometimes it can cost you like 2 to 3 million. It just really depends on how bad your rolls are, because between levels in 12 and 16, it's not always guaranteed. Do I have an item that I could maybe show this on, maybe without screwing myself too much? This item here, for Sun Wukong that I have for crit damage on this amulet. You know what? Actually, accessories do cost more than regular pieces, so I would caution on that. Do I have something else that I can test this on that would have any viability at all? That I want to level up. I have a level 15 boots piece over here, but I'm just trying to find something that's a little bit lower on level that wouldn't cost me too much. Let's take this sword. Maybe I could upgrade this a little bit. Let's just upgrade this one level. Now it is a 5-star legendary weapon, and that's going to cost me. I'm surprised that only cost me 70,000. But my point is that when you go, especially from level 15 to 16, that can cost you a lot of money, right? And so you're deep in the silver hole. And silver is really important because these events can be really important, and especially maxing out a really good gear piece to 16 is also very important, right? Some items get insane amount of boosts for getting level 16. For example, my speed gauntlets here get 50% at level 16, but I believe level 15 is only like 38%. So there's a really huge jump on some of these items. I think I had something that like the Rector Drath, I believe the boots, right? So this is 39% on the boots at level 15, sorry. And then going up to 16, one level is 50% or 11% hit points. So that's a lot of increase. You get a significant boost, but it costs a lot. So you need to really be careful of the gear that you're upgrading, right? And so that's the second part that I want to talk about, is not wasting your silver on items that you don't need to upgrade. So yes, I have like almost 1,000 gear pieces I need to do some cleansing, especially these level 4 things that I upgraded. I could probably sell them off now at this point, but because that's what I was using for the gear enhancement. So the other thing is that you want to make sure that you're upgrading gear that you actually need. And for this, I'm going to actually like take my picture away here for a minute because you need to see the filter section. And so some of the most important items in Raid Shadow Legends are going to be the percent based items. It's going to be your HP percent. It's going to be your attack percent. It's going to be your defense percent. I think crit rate percent as well, can have some good values, especially on the gloves, because I'm pretty sure that's the majority of crit rate percent is on gloves. And of course, speed main stat, which is on boots as well. So you can see I don't have really as many of these across my various. This is everything. This is everything that I own that actually has main stat speed. So it's not a lot. But there's also a lot of these other gear pieces, both with resist, with accuracy. These are not as good, and so these are not things that you typically want to invest in when it comes to like level 12 through 16, because that's going to be a lot of silver wasted, and especially at lower stars. So I mean, I'm at the point now in my roster, about a month in, where I am mostly getting 4-star plus gear. Honestly, at this point, I'm not even upgrading things past level 12 unless they're 5-star and above, and it really depends on the item piece as well. I mean, I'm not farming a lot of 6-star, so I can't really be that picky, I suppose. But making sure that you're not upgrading, say, like a random flat HP piece, right? Don't take a random, not the hoods, but like I guess it would be like the gloves, right? Because sometimes you get like the flat stats on gloves, chest pieces, and boots, but don't take this up to like level 16, waste 2 million silver, and then you're poor, right? Because there's a lot of easy ways that you can bankrupt yourself in Raid Shadow Legends when you're not careful about what you're upgrading. And so that's really important to make sure that you're actually upgrading things that are of value, that have really good long-term value, especially above level 12. But even you could go around wasting a lot of silver just upgrading pieces to level 8 if you're doing this for a crap ton of characters. And something that I want to talk about as well is like what I've been doing with my faction wars characters, right? Like you can see that I have a ton of level 40 epics that I've been kind of utilizing for faction wars so far, right? Like I don't have a huge broad roster, as I do have a lot of epics actually. But by and large, right, like I'm just mostly using them for faction wars, especially if they're just a level 40. And I do kind of just chuck some, like level some gear on that I don't need. Level 8, I have been doing that, but just caution yourself that this can, even level 8 can cost you if it can add up eventually. So but faction wars is important to some extent, and even the early farm levels are important too. So yeah, just keep in mind, and also the accessories do cost you a little bit more. Now, if you do want to maximize, if you're grinding, if you're trying to farm for food, level up your characters, that thing. Like I said earlier on, and I think in other videos too, the best place for you to do this is going to be chapter 12-3, aka the shield level here, because shields sell for some of the highest costs. So this is where I'm farming on the brutal difficulty here. But if you're not able to do that, you can also do normal or hard mode depending on how early of an account you are. But I'm able to farm brutal 2-3, 12-3, with Kale as my main wave clearer, and then I have 3 other characters as my food. And then again, I'm saving up those shields. All the shields that I collect off of this from drops, I'm saving this as much as I can, right? Until I cap out on my artifact limit. But I'm saving this for gear enhancement events so that it's again super tedious, but taking them to level 4 and then selling them off is gonna net you a profit. And over time, you're gonna be able to clear these events a little bit easier, unless you're someone sitting on like 10 million plus silver and you can just drop it to level 16, and then that's fine, or you just get super lucky and it didn't cost you that much. But there's a lot of RNG in that when it comes to getting that finished up. So just a few words of caution. I think people really need to be careful about their silver. It doesn't come in as fast as some people might think it does. So making sure that you're not blowing. Oh yeah, you know what? I really should have mentioned this as I got like a ping for the market here. This is a very easy way to waste your silver. And I think this is worth including in the video as well. So you can see over here, there's like a 6-star legendary helmet over here, and that sounds great, and depending on what account level you are, you're going to start seeing different things. And I forget what level it is. Maybe it's level 40 of your account when you start seeing 4, 5, 6-star items. But at some point, they start showing up in your game. And this costs 3 million silver, right? For like a random 6-star legendary piece. And, I fell into this trap early on where I just like, oh, ooh, that looks nice, right? A 5-star epic speed or a speed shield, right? Buy that. And I wasn't necessarily looking at the stats that were on it either. I just kind of looked at the quality, I saw the stars, and then I bought it. So some of this stuff can really add up. And I'll be honest, you don't actually need to buy these things most of the time. One thing that I have looked out for myself are speed stat um, main stat speed boots on good sets. That's like the only thing that I've personally gone out of my way for and bought sometimes. And even then, making sure that it's the right substats as well. But make sure that if you are considering buying anything, which I don't recommend, especially for non-spenders, because this can be really pricey. And if you're not paying attention to what sets, a lot of the sets don't actually have an insane amount of value. And so you could be throwing out a lot of silver and wasting it and bankrupting yourself without paying too much attention, especially in the early game, because like when you're in a new account for like the first couple of weeks, it kind of looks like you're getting a lot of silver for free, and you are typically, but then after that, things get a little bit tougher and you need to really make some strong decisions and not blow your silver too fast, because it's not going to come in as quickly as you think it does. So these are just some tips that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know if you have any other silver tips in the comments down below that have helped you. And of course, if you haven't downloaded Raid Shadow Legends yet, if you haven't started an account yet, make sure you download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen, or in the description box down below. There's a link there as well, and you can get yourself a free Rector Drath after you finish the tutorial. Also, you'll get an Ugo as well into your account at level 15. So don't delay and download using that. That's going to be the end of this video, everyone. So until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.